What's up? No, so, yeah, wow, Jesse was right. You really can't see anyone. um, so thank you, first of all, for coming out. Obviously, it means a lot. Uh, you know, it's kind of I don't know. I switched into composition two and a half years ago, soon to be three, right? Because it was brand new, and it's super awesome that this department has this program now, because it finally fills that like gap that we had. Not really, we had a gap, but allows people like me who decided that they did not want to spend their time in SRT, no flack. I wouldn't have survived. Just wasn't my speed. But that being said, I switched in on a whim, and I've been having a lot of fun. Mostly just because I get to do stuff like this and spend it with other people. But yeah, that being said, so that first piece was called Butterfly Effect. I'll have your programs you can read. But anyways, yeah, I wrote that piece for percussion ensemble here last year. And so the last time that we performed that was a year ago. And I was all like, hey, can we just speed learn that one really quickly? Thanks, I appreciate it. But yeah, anyways, that is one of two live pieces that we play tonight. Scheduling rehearsals and doing live performances is a little difficult, so I hope you all understand. The rest of the stuff I wrote all myself, mixed with and mastered with the help of the wonderful John Shirley. So thank you. There'll be a lot of those tonight. But anyways, the next piece, so nobody has to ask the question. It's called nyctaheliphobia. It is not nonsense. It means the fear of specifically dark forests, which is an interesting one, I guess. That was not some like, oh, I'm gonna write a piece that sounds like dark. It's not how it worked. It was named something else, and I went, I don't know if that's ready for a recital. So I just found something random. But anyways, yeah, a couple of the a couple of the pieces tonight will have video. This one does not, however, it is just audio. So with that being said, please enjoy. centered themselves around like, oh, let's study a bunch of old dead people because that's fun. Yeah. So the title of the composition program here is called Composition for New Media, and all kind of focusing around like, hey, what can we do with the interplay of like video and music or interactive audio, doing things with like VR, video games, or movies, or TV, a bunch of other things. And given the state of the world for the past 2 years, a lot of people have been getting into watching a lot more live streams or online video and all that stuff. It's been an interesting thing, and it's been something that I've filled plenty of my free time with, and it's not free time. But that last piece was actually written for the purpose of being used as like BGM for streaming, so that you could put it on. Obviously, that's not like it's spooky, right? So there was a couple of streamers doing like a tabletop role-playing game, like D&D kind of thing, and they were like, "Yeah, let's have some music for it." And I was like, "Here's this thing, I guess." So that being said, the next one is nothing like that. So this next piece is called Nihon Shiki Harare, and a little backstory. Last year, I took a course here called Directed Study in Music History, and actually, a whole semester before I took this course, I walked up to the professor, Dr. Timothy Crane, and was like, "Hi, I would like to do a thing. Can we do this?" And he went, "You like a whole semester early for this? What? So I was like, I don't care. I want to do this. I think this is super cool." So what I ended up doing was spending my whole semester studying Japanese music history. So in partner to that, I was also taking the History of Japan course that the school offers, which means that I wrote down the history of Japan, about 3,000 years of it, maybe 4 or 5 times. Entirely unnecessary. But that being said, one of the things that I wanted to do was take everything that I learned from that project and put it into a composition. That was my major, and this class was very much not part of my major, but I wanted to take it anyways to learn, because I thought it was fun. So this next piece is a piece for Japanese traditional music, traditional instruments, and it was a super cool project to do with all the performers, and to talk to everyone and kind of figure out like, hey, what's reasonable, what's not, what makes sense, and all trying to do this while the performers are all in California, and I'm here. So it was a super interesting experience and time to figure out how to communicate getting a piece performed and recorded and all that stuff on the other side of the country. I don't know, it was a thing. But it was super awesome to work with all the performers. And with that being said, I hope you all enjoy. project to do. Yeah, Dr. Crane was my like advisor through that, so we were meeting every week, and after a certain point, like about like halfway through the semester, once I felt like I'd started to, pick up a bunch of things from the music and examples that I was listening to and the history that I was like reading and studying, I was like, okay, now I feel like I need to. I've got a month left. I need to start this. But yeah, either way, it was a really fun project, and all of those people who performed and recorded and helped with all the production aspect of that, wonderful people. That was a cold call, by the way. It's just cold email, and somehow it happened. But yeah, I actually don't know what's next. No, I do know what's next. Yeah, that's right. I know my own program. Um, yeah, so up next is a little bit of a like, combined piece so the first half of that piece, or the upcoming piece, was a project that I did for a class with John Shirley called Music and Multimedia Production. And towards the end-ish of the semester, we got reached out to by the art department here, and they had a bunch of like graphics and visual artists or art students who were working on a VR project, and they were tasked with like creating an atmosphere and a space in VR. So a couple of them got like headsets to borrow and were like building the space in VR on like this web client, right? So you launch your browser and then you put on your headset. If you know anything about VR, that's like instant red flags. But it was cool because it was essentially like a Google Docs for creating a VR space together, which was an interesting project. But we essentially got paired up with these art students, and they were like, "Hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want." And so I worked with a couple of these students, and they said, "This is what we're looking for." I went, "Okay." And so the first half of this is going to be that, and then I think I wrote like a little. I know I wrote it. I wrote like a little, not a little. It's like half the duration, whatever. I wrote an addendum to it, and yeah, that's that. So. Hey, so sorry about not making that ending clear. Like me, it trails on and doesn't like to stop. So, it's a good seat. Jesse was right to grab a seat. Next project, I'll keep this one brief. Next track was a project that I had done just now, like this semester with, I guess this semester and last semester, with one of the art students from the last project. They were super, super cool, and the start of the start of fall semester, they reached out and they were like, "Hey, I'd like to work with you. I've got this project, and I need custom music for it." And I was like, "Okay, what are you thinking?" They explained to me their project. Essentially, it is it's a 3D animated trailer for a hypothetical video game that they had to create a test demo for their previous year's project. Um, excuse me. But this is some some demo footage and part of the animatic, so kind of like the timed storyboard of what they wanted the trailer to be. But this project is essentially, or this video game is kind of like, it's like Luigi's Mansion meets Mario Party. It's okay. You'll probably pick up on the premise, but they essentially were like, hey, we need spooky carnival fun Mario Party, and I went, I know what you're asking for, I think. So yeah, this is some demo footage of what their project is due in like a month and a half or so. So I just asked them for whatever I could get for them for stage, whatever they had, and then I stitched it together with the rest of the animatic. But yeah, so you'll hear the music and along with some of the footage. But yeah, enjoy. So that one was fairly short. So hopefully that was a nice change of pace. But yeah, that was a really fun project to work on. Just because I was like, I don't know how to time manage. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff right now. And then they'd reach out to me and be like, hey, how's progress going? I'm like, not so great, but I'll have something for you by this time. And it did. But obviously dealing with trying to put together all of this in whatever not actually happening stage it was last semester, and dealing with all the rest of my classes and stuff like that, it was a trip. But it was a lot of fun, and it was very, very different from anything that I'd done before. But yeah, that was a really fun track to work on and put together. So this next one. This next one was a rescoring project that I did with Dr. Vaccaro in his scoring for visual media class. Essentially, the premise was, hey, find a scene from TV, movie, or video game that's fixed media. Can't be interactive, can't be like, running around in a video game. It needs to be a cutscene. It needs to be locked video. So, with the recommendation of my roommate at the time, I went with the opening cutscene to Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition because it was nice and freshly remastered. But I knew that sound world because I played the second game, but I didn't know the music of the first game. And so I thought this was a really good opportunity for me to go, hey, I know this world, but I don't know this. So let me experiment and try to see what I can come up with. Striving for that world and see how well it lines up. This track features a guitarist who was also a comp major who graduated last year. His name's Camden Connor. He absolutely shreds, and he 100% made this project way better than it was before. No one had heard me attempt to solo on guitar, and it's going to stay that way. But yeah, Camden really killed it, and it was a really fun project to work on. This is going to be the full intro cutscene before gameplay starts, and all the dialogue's been added back in with my music replaced in it from the original. Yeah. So anyways, enjoy.
Long ago, the world was nothing more than an endless sea, cloaked in a boundless sky, reaching as far as could possibly be imagined. Then two great titans came into existence. The Bionis and the Mechonis. The Titans were locked in a timeless battle. Until at last, only their lifeless corpses remained. Eons have passed. Now, our world, this vast land stretching across the remains of the Bionis, is under attack from a relentless force known as the Mechon.
Retreat! Retreat! Get away from me! Retreat! No, retreat! The Edmonton's unknown! No! No!
They're advancing down our weak right flank. For a bunch of soulless machines, they seem to know a thing or two. But we'll see.
Dumban, we've been given the order to retreat. We're pulling back the line to Colony 6. That's where we'll set up the last line of defense.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Any more time spent hanging around here, and we're done for.
Count me in. We gotta get out of here.
Or we can stay and fight.
What? Ah!
We may die if we take a stand here, but staying gives us the chance to change our destinies. We have the Monado. With this, the future is ours for the taking.
Stupid beast. Your body can't take any more of the Monado. I can tell by just looking at you.
Getting short-sighted in your old age, Dixon. I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm still in control.
I should have known I couldn't talk sense into a beast. Let's do this. I'm going with you. You'll need someone to drag your corpse off.
As long as you think you've still got the strength in you, old man.
Oi, you two. We've been ordered to pull back. I'm leaving.
Well, I say you're coming with us. What would we do without those?
The enemy's second wave is approaching.
It's now or never, Dunban. Let's show them what we've got. We'll give them a warm Hom's welcome.
Acknowledged.
Yeah. Ha. What are they trying to prove? I'm not throwing my life away. No point dying in some godforsaken field. Nothing for it. I'll have to use Dunban as a decoy. Yeah, that should give me time to escape.
Sorry, I just had emergency phone call come up. We're all good though. Not an emergency, but like, I ordered pizza for all the performers and thank them. And Domino's called me, and I was just like, all right, crap, I gotta deal with this. So thankfully, Shay is still doing that out there. All right. So, yeah, that was a really interesting one. I did a lot of stuff in there that I mean, that's kind of the whole point of today is me to show you all the things that I've never done before. But that one was especially crazy one because it is definitely the largest project file I've ever done. Burning my computer, melting it to the ground, running like, I don't know, 60 instances of the same program, all running at once. All of the instruments were like, whatever. It was crazy and it was breaking my computer. That's all that needs to be said. But yeah, Kenton absolutely killed it. I was like, hey, so we're doing a project, and I want to reuse this. Would you pretty please play guitar on it? Please, 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 please. And he accepted, and he nailed it. But anyways, that being said, we're gonna have a brief intermission while we take a chance, or take a sec to change up the stage, get all this stuff put away, and get the next, or the last performance set up. So if you would all just hang tight for just a little bit while we do that, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. So what's he? Oh no, yeah, he's not playing games.
The rest of these projects don't have video. It was a long task to do any of this stuff, obviously. This next track is actually kind of like a bit of a medley. I smashed together a bunch of songs that I did for a game jam actually this past June, where I hadn't done a game jam before, and I just signed up for it. And I went, cool. I've got 2 weeks to write a whole soundtrack for a game. It was only it only ended up being 4 songs, and 3 ended up being used in the project. But this is going to be kind of like a medley of all 4 of those together. This is a little bit of a lengthy one, but hopefully you'll be willing to bear through it. But yeah, with that being said, enjoy. that was an interesting project for me because I was sitting at home this past summer in Vermont. I had set up my whole studio, which was just me, you know, screwing a drawer onto an IKEA desk. That was a fun adventure. But yeah, I played most of the things on that track. I got a bass and I used my acoustical guitar and my electronic drum set and penny whistles that magically appeared on my desk out of nowhere when I got back from rehearsal one day. So thanks, Mom. That was interesting. But yeah, that was that. This next piece is this next piece was a very fun project that I started last semester in my lessons with Ramon Castillo, who was very, very supportive and knew exactly what I wanted to go for. So he was great help with this track. But if you know me, you know I do this thing called drum corps or indoor percussion. This is an interesting one because it's defined not only the music that I write, listen to, but also just like what things I am musically and also like personally inclined to. So I kind of don't want to say any more. Yeah, it's fun, I think. So. So, this brings up an interesting point that you will see in the next track. But in Ramon's class, I don't know if it was fall or spring prior, but no, it was this past fall. We took a class called Music and Sound for Games, which was a really fun class, especially for me, because I obviously really like video games. Could you tell? But one of the units that we did was essentially like an analysis of how the NES sound system worked. So we looked at, how the sound chip physically works and like what sounds it could produce, and then, how music was written for it, and then how sound effects was written for it, because all of the sound effects were just like pitch bases. Like they were all just like arpeggios really fast, or, two notes or whatever it was. But it was a super, super cool unit that I definitely think changed like the way that I thought about a lot of things. And also maybe I like writing some chiptune stuff. I don't know, it was a lot of fun. But these next 3 tracks are kind of like an exploration through video game music history as far as like sound systems and how that all works. So the first track kind of sits in line with like the old, was it like the Sega 1700 or something? We're talking like, I don't know, 79, like 1979, and it can only produce like 3 sounds. That was it, only 3. The second track is like NES, is by the books how the NES sound system worked. And the third track is a bunch of the N64 sound fonts, specifically from Legend of Zelda. But like, yeah, so it was all like sampled through all that stuff. It's a little trip through video game music history. But yeah, enjoy. interesting, okay. But it's a lot of that when you work writing music for other people. But that being said, I kind of wanted it to be like, hey, let's take a journey through, what music in video games is, to then only come to a live performance of video game music, which I thought would be really fun. So this is a track that, again, I wrote for Game Jam this past summer, and it was a lot of fun. But this is going to be live with a lot of people. So if you'll give us just a moment to get ready, we've got to do some stage changes. Thank you. Yeah, okay, so, first of all, there's a lot of wonderful people on stage who got a less than desirable time frame to do what they did, and they absolutely killed it. It was so awesome to work with you all. I greatly appreciate it. I don't think you understand. No, you may understand, but may never be said fully. Point is, this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, this was super cool. So first, I want to thank you all for coming out. It means a lot. Greatly appreciate it. As this is officially, I guess, debut. Whatever. No, but in all seriousness, there's a lot of really, really awesome people who helped put this whole night together. I want to first and foremost thank the wonderful DTS who made some real magic happen today. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I greatly appreciate it. So. Secondly, I want to make sure that I thank again all of the performers here. Some of them had to leave, which is a little sad. They had things that they needed to do, but yeah, give it up for them. They're awesome. Yeah, they'll kill it. Thank you. Can I say that again? Thank you. Yeah. Then obviously, I need to thank all of my teachers and friends who stuck with me through changing majors and me complaining about things that they don't really care about, and me talking about trying to show them my pieces, and they're like, just shut up, I don't want to hear this, but they're being nice, which is wonderful. So thank you all, friends and teachers. You made this happen. It wouldn't have. Sorry. But thank you. I appreciate it, really. John Shirley, you you dragged me through this, and I greatly appreciate it. You've been there, you helped start this program, and it's been a lot of fun. It's weird to think that it's done, but I guess I did technically cram my degree in 3 years, so that's a thing. But yeah, just thank you all for showing up, for coming here, for listening. Thank you again to everyone who performed. This was a lot. This was really cool. Don't know when this will happen again. Definitely not to the scale, because this was a lot to put on. But it was a lot of fun. I'd love to do it again. So yeah, with that, I think that's the end. Yeah, that's it. There's one final thing, sorry. There is, for the performers, so please do not touch, but there is a lot of food out there on the table. So again, if you're not a performer, please do not touch it. It's all for them. If there's extra, I'll let you know. Thank you.